we're back with another episode with Kale, and we're going to process through an interview, see what his fitness journey has been over this period of time, see what he got started with training, and we're going to go from there. So, Kale, what made you decide to pick up a dumbbell or decide to train? Who was your inspiration, or what helped you get in the gym to start off with to start making your transformations and your life path so far?
Hey man, yeah, when I first started training, the first time I ever walked into a gym, I had no idea what I was doing, didn't know anything about training, didn't know anything about nutrition. And, I had a buddy of mine when I became an apprentice chef when I was 16, he take me down to the gym and he's like, this is how we do a bench press, this is how we do an overhead press. He was a little bit older than me, been training for a few years. I didn't have any experience or knowledge at the time. And I was drinking them bulk protein shakes when I was a little youngin', and thinking that was the way to build muscle. I just added a lot of excess body weight, and glycogen and body fat and things like that. But he showed me the ropes when I was about 15, and then I turned 16, and then I started really understanding a little bit more about nutrition, fitness, and training. And I just kept consistently going. Then I ended up getting a gym coach as well when I was 16 and a half. To really get a bit more of an understanding. So he took me through, his workouts, and he showed me correct form and technique and things like that. And then sort of got a bit more of an understanding about nutrition and training. And then I started implementing it more and more into my daily lifestyle. And then, I was 17, I was benching, 95 kilos, I'm pretty sure, when I was around 17. And, and then I started learning, how to lose body fat because, drinking lots of protein shakes, drinking lots of bulk shakes over the years of starting as a youngin', getting into the bulk shakes, not knowing anything about nutrition. I was an apprentice chef, so I was working many hours on my feet all day. And, I was learning about cooking, and then I was learning about training as well. So, on my breaks, I'd go down to the gym. So I'd do split shifts at work, and I'd go down to the gym when I was a youngin', and I'd watch all the other dudes in there training hard and sort of watch them and get a bit of an understanding. And then I also had a fitness coach for around 3 or 4 months, and I worked with him for a while when I was young to really get an understanding about training, nutrition, and fitness. And, as a young person, you don't absorb it all. You try not to learn too much too soon. And then over the years, as I got into 18, 19, I started going by myself, and then I started really, hitting the weights hard, training harder, and then learning how to build muscle correctly with correct form and technique. And then I started learning how to track protein in your diet so that you could optimize muscle protein synthesis. So by tracking protein, over a long period of time, it helped me to build muscle with the recovery, the bone density, obviously metabolism, and then tracking your fats as well for healthy hormones. So trying to keep my hormones quite fit all the time. And, always been an apprentice chef and then becoming a chef, I'm always working a lot of hours. So always trying to train, on my lunch break or something like that, going down for I might get an hour and a half lunch break. I'll be in the gym for an hour, then going back to work all night, and sort of just stuck with me over the long time. And now, after doing it consistently now for, close to, 12 to 14 years, I'm learning so much still to this day about training and nutrition. And there's so much that you can learn about. And the journey is endless, guys. You can really learn a lot and take it all in and just get 1% better each day. By doing that, you can improve your strength, your guidelines, you can improve your cholesterol, you can improve your health, overall health, you can build some strength, build your metabolism. There's many things that you can do with fitness and training, but you sort of got to love it, turn it into a passion, then turn it into a motivation, then sort of turn it into a lifestyle and a discipline for the long run. And then once you get into a weekly routine, and then you consistently just do it because you love it, or it's like a discipline, like brushing your teeth every day. You just go there, train. There's different types of workouts that I've been through my life journey. I started maybe doing whole body workouts. I found out that they didn't work for me. So then I started looking at different workouts. What can I do? I tried the bro split. Then I found one that I really enjoy, and the one that I've been doing for the last 5 years, relatively consistent, was push-pull legs, because I found that I could work 3 days on, do push-pull legs and then day off, and then push-pull legs, and train 6 days consistently, because I want to be in the gym as much as possible, right? Because I love the industry. I love it, the hard work. work and the grind, and and I love being able to like help others. And that's why I got into personal training, 4 years ago, because I actually love helping people start from scratch. I worked in a big commercial gym for a long time, and I was showing people how to train from scratch, absolute beginners, never stepped a foot in the gym. And they had me there to actually guide them through that. And that's what, if I could make their day and they could say something positive about, hey man, thanks for helping me learn how to, bench press or deadlift and, with correct form and technique. I really appreciate your time, man. Like, you're really awesome. And that made my day, helping people. And that's why I love the journey. It's like helping people, especially people that want to lose weight, build some strength, build some muscle, then keep it consistent. Because as soon as you stop being consistent, guys, it's really bad, because, you might go to the gym for, a few months, build this muscle, build some strength, build your correct form and technique, start working on progressive overload. And then, all of a sudden you stop going, and then you lose that consistency and drive and motivation, and then you're just going to lose what you've made. So, if you want some help, guys, no worries. And any other questions, brother? What else do you want to...
Yeah, so during that period, I was just waiting for you to finish. I got a few. Yeah, so during that period of time, when you did all your training, what did you find worked best for you? Because a lot of times, just because it works for someone doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else. It's really strange like that, our body. We end up finding what works better for our schedule due to muscle fibers, because of what we got slow and quick. There's a few different reasons why, hip insertions, joint lengths. There's a whole heap of reasons why one method will work better. Recovery time, healing time that your body will actually be effective, like nervous system. So as an example, one person will be able to be very good and efficient from doing like more styles of training closer together, because their overload of volume is what you'd say is less, if you get what I mean. So it's not as much. So the amount of weight, I mean by the volume. So, then you can hit the muscle 3 or 4 times, where someone else who lifts a lot more weight, their nervous system needs more time to recover. So depending on your training age and that. So sorry to dump you with a few different questions, but I was just sort of getting the gauge on what you think worked best for you, if all that you've experienced so far.
Yeah. What's worked best for me was finding the style that I enjoy, that keeps me motivated and keeps me disciplined.
Yeah.
That's what I found that worked for me, and that was like the push-pull legs day off, push-pull legs day off. That's what I found that worked best for me. I tried the whole body workouts. I didn't enjoy them.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy going and crush my whole body in one big session, then taking a day off, then doing it again. I didn't enjoy that. I tried it for a while.
When you did that style, what was your volume like on the one set? So say you would do like your the one muscle group for that day. What was your volume like overall for it? So how many sets?
Is that for the whole body, or is that for my push-pull legs?
When you tried the whole body, because I know you love the other one, so we'll get into that in a tick. But yeah, for you, when you didn't enjoy it that much because it wasn't fun for you and stuff, and you didn't feel you recovered or whatever the reasons why behind it,
Yeah, going in, smashing your chest, your back, your legs, your abdominals. Didn't enjoy that. We're doing probably roughly, maybe 4 to 6 working sets on each muscle group, and I was there. It took a long time to get through that workout. I'm there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, trying to get a whole body workout in, and then not recovering as well as what I'd like to.
I say you haven't tried this doing one muscle group for one day.
Yeah, so what was that, sorry?
So you haven't tried doing one muscle group for one day? That's what I was asking. That's my bad. I should have been more clear. So yeah, so as an example, have you got in and just did legs for one day and nothing else, and then shoulders?
Yeah, so that's what I do now.
Oh, so yeah, because you do more than one muscle group, so you do like a push-pull routine. So a push-pull routine, you would do like all your pushes or all your pulls.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about the bro split.
Yeah, one per day. That's what I said. That's what I thought you were saying, and that's why I says, have you tried that? And what was the volume on that when you tried it? My explaining was.
When I tried the bro split, like just the shoulders or just the arm day or just the chest day. Try and do at least, 10 to 12 working sets, between 12 to 20 working sets per week. And what I would classify as a working set, in my own opinion, with hypertrophy type training, I don't do strength or powerlifting. Yeah. So with hypertrophy, I'd be looking at doing 40-second sets. So I'd put a timer on for 40 seconds. I do around 75 to 85% of my 1 rep max. So hypothetically, if my one rep max of bench press was 100 kilos, I'd do 75 or 85 kilos, and I'd do 8 to 12 repetitions for 40 seconds, and I'd slow it down on the eccentric motion, and then power up on the concentric, and just keeping that tension.
Reserve training. So that's 1 or 2 off failure then. So you didn't do failure repetitions then during that blow style of training.
Oh no. With the 40-second timer, I generally hit failure by the end of it. I was doing failure.
Yeah, I thought you meant like the percentage when you were saying like in between. That's all good. Yeah, anyway, so we'll get into what you're more doing now then. I got a general idea. I was just curious. So yeah, the push-pull that you're loving at the moment, and so how do you structure that for your push-pull, and what have you been enjoying about it?
So, maybe Monday we start with push day, as always. So we always do our chest tries and maybe throw in some traps at the end. So we always want to hit that, the pectoral muscles. So I always do a middle. So I'll do the middle pec, and then I'll do the upper pec as well. So I'll always hit, like a flat bench or a dumbbell press, flat bench, and then maybe go to an incline, maybe a 30-degree incline dumbbell press, incline dumbbell press. And then I might do some, some pull downs, some T-bar pull downs maybe, or I can do some rope pull downs for the triceps. Also some close grip push-ups, also great. Also, I love to hit the chest cable flies as well after. And then maybe I might finish up with some front delts and some traps just to finish up. And that's sort of like how I do sort of like a push day. And then also, the next day, maybe it's back and buys. So we're going to go smash the back. So we're going to smash the rhomboids, the lats. We're going to smash the rear delts. We're going to smash the biceps. So a general workout for me for something like a back day would be like maybe chest supported back row cable pulls. And then I would also do maybe a bent over row. Then also I would go to an easy bar bicep curl, standing easy bar supinated bicep curls, maybe a cable curl as well, because you can really hold that tension on the muscle. And we're doing 40-second sets, 8 to 12 repetitions, and keeping it high volume. We're doing at least, in that muscle groups, I'd be doing at least 8 to 10 working sets each workout for about an hour and a half, and I do it over, I'd take 2-3 minute breaks in between to let that ATP stores come back up and being able to push for that next big set.
Yeah, so your total amount of volume would be up there about in the 20 set range or above, 25 to 30.
Above, because I'm hitting them twice per week. Yeah, so I'm probably getting close. I wouldn't recommend for like a beginner to do more than 20 working sets per week, but I probably do roughly around 24 to 28. But because I'm experienced, I'm conditioned, I've been doing it for years, my body's so conditioned to it. But for a beginner, you probably only want to be doing between 12 to 20, between that range, I think is quite safe.
Yeah, that definitely.
And then I'll talk a little bit about the...
That's right, kick on.
Yep, sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, that's where it comes in, where it's more individualised for you, you know what I mean? So that's why getting a coach sometimes helps, or, knowing your own body and testing it many, many different times yourself to see what works more effective. Because I found many different times, like one thing that would work one year won't work the next year, where I need more recovery or I don't need as much recovery. So strange, the body. I think at the end of the day, so far that I've experienced, it's got more to do with the food intake, and the quality of the food intake helps a great deal in your sleep and all them other little factors that come into it. Sorry, as I interrupted you, I didn't mean to, as you were saying. What were you saying?
So, and just a basic leg day, something that I'd hit, maybe I'd start off with some, warm-up sets. Then I'd go to my heavy working set. So maybe I'd do a barbell squat, high placement barbell squats to really hit the quads and glutes really hard. And then I'd go to maybe a dumbbell Romanian deadlift, really hit the lower back and the glutes and the hamstrings really hard. And then also I don't mind the Bulgarian split squats. Don't do them too often, but I'm trying to incorporate them.
They're good.
They are quite difficult. And I also love the dumbbell lunges as well. They're really good. The farmer walk's great as well. I also like to do the calf raises, the leg extensions on the machines as well. You can really isolate them and really hit them muscles really hard. Also, I love the hack squat machine as well. I really get into it, and the leg press. I like doing it in the middle where you hit all the, the quads, the glutes, and the hamstrings all nice and evenly. Like if you go lower down, you're going to be more quad concentrated. If you go higher up, it's more hamstring on the leg press, just depending on what you're trying to work, I guess. But I like to hit my legs hit all the muscle groups all nice and consistently when I do legs. Some people I've been told just like to go in and do hamstrings one day and then they might do a quad the next day, when they go do their next leg workout, But I like to hit them all nice and consistent and evenly. I try and work my lower back muscles when I do my legs. And then I might finish up with some abdominals. Well, you still got to work the abdominals at the end of the day. They're still a muscle.
They help.
And, maybe doing some cable crunches, hanging leg raises and things like that. Also, sit-ups are great. I don't really do many sit-ups. I don't do many sit-ups because, my lower back, after 17 years of training, it can be quite affected by, heavy lifting on it all the time. So I always try and do like the hanging leg raise or the cable crunches, maybe the abdominal machine.
The lower ones are hardest to build anyway. The lower ones are the hardest ones to build. Yeah, they're the ones that support
the hanging leg raises are the hardest.
Yeah, they're not pretty. But yeah, that's, I used to do very, very similar with my leg train. I used to always do the same type of just one leg day, but I actually had to split it up because I found that over a period of time, my hamstrings become more dominant, like especially in a leg press or something like that. Well, this is just for me, not meaning to screw off, but so as an example, I'll be much more stronger and hamstring dominant, where when I'm lower, I'm a lot weaker. So I actually had to split them to try to even like imbalances up. Everyone suffers from slight imbalances, like you'll have one side a little bit bigger or smaller than the other, and that's why that's why you'll use a lot of single hinge movement things to sort of help to correct that and other things. But yeah, before we move on to that, have you got anything else to add that you wanted to add in between there? And I'll throw a link up down below where you can find him in socials and everything else before we move on to some nutritional side of things.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for the nutrition, brother. That's what I really love. Being a chef for 11 years, working in commercial kitchens, really learn a lot about nutrition. But yeah, just about the training, I just try and keep consistent as possible, guys. If that's the only way to really build. You have to really push with intensity and you have to be there. You have to track your sleep, your protein. You got to track your sets and repetitions and work on progressive overload. They're the most important things, guys, and your hydration as well. Most important things to actually staying consistent and building muscle over time. And remember, building muscle is extremely slow as well, and it takes a long time and a lot of dedication. And you've got to be patient with it. People want to go to the gym, they want to build, huge biceps in 6 months. I've been training 17 years. It doesn't happen overnight, man. It takes years and years of consistent hard work, And that's what I'm trying to. That's why I get a lot of young people coming to me asking me about enhancements and peptides and things like that, man. I'm just like, no, bro, it's not the way to go. You're only young. You don't need to buy supplements. You're 15. Don't worry about spending money on supplements. You're going to be hitting them newbie gains. Let's be honest. You're going to be hitting them newbie gains, man. Focus just on your form and technique and getting into a routine. Don't worry about spending money on pre-workout and creatine and, maybe when you hit a bit of a plateau as a natural after 4 to 5 years, then maybe start looking at some supplements to give you a little bit of a boost. But they're only 2 to 5%, aren't they, roughly? Supplements, I don't really. It's more about nutrition and just being consistent.
Nutrition and that, like I said, like I'll add to that and I'll say the same thing. You want to stay as natural as long as you possibly can. You don't want to go down the other path unless you have to medically, or that it's a decision you've made after a long period of time. You don't want to be 100%. One of these young guys who are like 17, 18. I see them all the time, 16. I think that your brain doesn't fully develop properly, and there can be some hard side effects. Yeah, 27, I think it is 25, 27.
27, yeah,
I
it might
so.
Be even older.
Yeah, so you should wait as long as you can, and just by saying on that, because like it says, better to speak to your doctor, but just remember, less is best. And the only way I'll discuss anything like that is through my other coaching services. And as I already stated, I would make sure that you've got to be over the age of 27 or I'm not even dealing with you. I'm sorry. This is the way it is. Because I'd rather you do it healthily and safely, if you decide to, but not, I prefer you not to. Anyway, sorry to steal the thing from you. I just had to say my opinion. Just the way it is. Yeah.
No, it's good. I like it.
Yeah. So the nutrition. So yeah, what are you doing for nutrition at the moment, and what's the goal coming up? Have you got any goals or anything you're looking at
So,
doing?
so I do. I'm planning on doing a comp in 7.5 weeks, guys. I'm absolutely training my butt off right now. You know, cardio, training, consistency, and tracking my nutrition every single day to lose the adipose tissue around the abdominals and lower down the body fat as low as possible.
Nice.
Don't recommend it for the average person to be going down to 3 or 4% and then trying to maintain it. It's just going to ruin your hormones. It's going to ruin your test levels. It's going to ruin your libido, your strength. Everything's going to, yeah, it's just going to crush you. But, you know, a healthy body fat percentage I recommend for men is roughly like 10 to 15%. You can maintain, you can feel strong, you've got a strong libido, you've got good energy, you've got good testosterone levels. Women, somewhere around that 18 to 25, I believe, is pretty good. What's your opinion on something like that, you know, body fat percentage for healthy men and healthy women?
Yes, so women's anywhere from 15 to 21. Do you know what I mean? So men is like basically similar, like anywhere from 12 to 8. Realistically, it should be about 10 to 12, you know what I mean? In between that range, you know, and the mistake that I've made in the past and a lot of things, you know, if I could save people time and save them energy, this old school thinking of eat what I want when I'm on my off season and not, you know, doing it very slowly, you know what I mean? And you gain all that fat back, your results is harder and you've got to spend longer in a deficit, you know. So sticking between them ranges, you know, it's going to be much more efficient and better. But by saying that for, you know, like you newbie people, when you first get in, better to spill a little bit, you know, not too much, you know, maybe push up to the 20, but then come straight back down to 18, 20, especially if it's your first year. If you understand what I'm saying, don't you? And then bring it lean it all in. Because that first year is going to be your best year of training. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the newbie gains are going to come in. You're going to be able to push. You're just going to grow. But you look at a dumbbell, even with no supplements, you're just going to grow. It's just the way the body reacts to it.
Yes.
So yeah, it's always the
It
best time for like the newbies to get in. Don't worry about supplements. Just get in and start focusing on tracking your nutrition, tracking your protein intake and your sleep, your hydration, and start working on your form and technique. Especially as a newbie, you probably don't know too much about form and technique. Start working on that, then start working on progressive overload over time. And the first year is always when you grow the most amount of muscle if you do it the right way.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you can be a bit fluffy. I do agree with having that little bit of extra adipose tissue on the body. It's going to increase your energy. It's going to increase your strength. It's definitely going to help you with the recovery because as we get extremely lean, the recovery sucks.
Yeah, like
as we know.
If he wasn't the newbie and you're already in it a bit of a time, better to get down, you know, get down to that 8% and then rebound back to 15 or 12 and then sit in between there. You understand what I'm saying? It's just be easier.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't have as much time. Like I just had to go through a bullshit cut and I'm finally at where I should be to start a new cut. So I had to go through it twice because I let myself go. I think life sometimes takes over, and you know, we'll see how everyone goes when they get to 40 years old and see if they're still going. So,
you know, like I was working an office job and I put on like 15, 20 kilos. I stopped caring as much about my physique and how I looked, and you know, I let myself go. But then I was looking in the mirror and I was like, Jesus, man, like I used to be so lean, shredded all the time, and now I'm like put on all this weight, and then I was just like depressed, you know, but I'm back to where I want to be now, so, you know, I'm happy again. But, you know, like, you know, you know, in that season, in that time that I wasn't training as efficiently or as consistently, I was working an office job 9 to 5. Didn't really enjoy life, and I was just like, you know, eating in a caloric surplus every day, eating takeaway, feeling like shit, looking in the mirror every morning, take my shirt off, and I'm like, oh, I don't like the look of that, you know, feeling depressed, and, you know, then I was like, all right, well, it's time to do something about it, you know, get back into a consistent routine, get back into your diet, start tracking your calories again, start doing the things that, you know, get you that physique, you know. It's like if you give someone with no knowledge a perfect physique and they go eat all rubbish and crap again, they're not going to be able to maintain it, right? You got to have that you got to have that mindset, right?
Yeah.
You got to have that mindset of someone that's 10% year round. You just got to change your habits, adjust things in your diet, adjust things in your, you know, your work routine, you know, fit training in when you can, guys. I know some of you guys are extremely busy, you know, but you got to find a time that works for you. That's the best time to go train, right? At the end of the day, the one that's going to make you go to the gym and get it in. People are like, oh, should I train in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night time? And I'm like, it doesn't matter when you train. As long as you actually get your workout in at the end of the day and that's the most convenient time for you, that's the best time to
Yeah.
go.
The time that you're going to do it and you're going to stick to it. That's what I says to people too when they try to say, what's the more efficient way. There is a more efficient way to do it for like nutrient dense food and the other, but it sucks and doesn't taste well. Where's the difference between if you're going to stick to it and get your goals, maybe take a little bit longer, but you're still going to get to your goals because you're chipping at that goal the whole time, instead of making a hiccup, because you get a little bit of lenience of more so a flexible style of diet. And where usually I found everyday Joe will like more a flexible style of diet, and where if you're more that pro mindset, you can work better on just the cleaner and food, because you get more food to eat. And at the end of the day, that gives you the look of your body too, though, if you understand what I'm talking about. It helps in some regards. And what's your opinions on them ones?
On clean eating, did you say, sorry, and getting the physique that you like? Is that what you're trying to say, sorry?
No. So I mean more the difference. So it's sort of like half controversial and half not. So because it's calories in, calories out at the end of the day, correct? So you could eat, as an example, like just sugar and still lose weight. But what I was trying to explain is
100%.
there's a difference between eating the sugar and then the nutrient dense food of what your body will actually look like at the end of the day, between the difference between
Oh,
eating
100%.
some healthier and not healthier. Because I didn't mean to look, but I've had like a sort of debate with a few times the other, and I'm trying to explain that, yeah, but your body doesn't produce the protein, so it's got to get the protein from somewhere. So that means the body is going to break down the protein tissue because of this. If you get what I mean, because it
Yeah,
needs
so
a certain
if
amount.
you're living off sugar and you're not having enough protein, even if you are training extremely hard, your body has to get protein from somewhere to to grow, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're training especially hard, just eating, low quality shit food. If you're not having enough protein in your diet, then it's obviously going to break down the protein. That's why you've got to keep your protein high, keep the stimulus high from training, and you've got to keep your hydration and sleep. What do you think of sleep deprived? When people get sleep deprived, normally cortisol and ghrelin, the hunger hormone in the body, sort of tries to counter it. So what I believe is if you're not getting enough sleep and you're hungry, it's because, ghrelin's coming up, it's punching you in the face going, I got to eat now because you're sleep depriving me, basically. So it's really
See,
important, guys, that you track your nutrition, you track your protein. And, if you don't want to track, I understand most people, like, let's be honest, most people don't want to track calories, right? So the thing that I would sort of do is do like an 80-20, like 80% whole foods and natural foods, like, your chicken breast, your sweet potato, your oatmeal, all your healthy carbs, your olive oil, your avocado, flax seeds, your salmon, things like that, all your healthy stuff. And then maybe like 20% when, one every fortnight or once a week, you might want to go for a cheat meal or go out with your missus or something like that. Go enjoy yourself with the kids,
for your
maybe
headspace,
once a week.
definitely for your
Um,
headspace. Yeah.
And so, did you have any good direct questions about nutrition, brother? I'm
Oh,
happy to
like I says,
extend
not
my
really.
knowledge.
Like I says, so if a general day of eating, so at the moment, like I says, what are you usually having for your breakdown? I'll go through mine quickly. I'll pull it up in the oven. Just give me a second, and I'll tell you what mine is, because I can't remember mine off the bat. Give me a second. So as an example, just your brief breakdown, because I know you're very extravagant with the different dishes. Being a chef, you would use a lot of different stuff, so you'd have to calculate more. But because I've seen a few of your videos, if you guys want to check them out, he cooks a whole heap of different recipes, and will help you guys stick to your nutrition. So as an example, my protein. What's that? Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, they're like low in calories,
Yeah,
high in protein. So they're like
yeah,
all your favorite takeaway meals, but I just
yeah,
lower the calories and double the protein and everything
yeah.
so that
Nice.
you guys can actually enjoy being on a diet. Because let's be honest, if your diet's boring and it sucks, you're most likely not going to stick to it. So if you find a diet that you can sustain for the rest of your life, something that's, high protein, low in calories, but tastes amazing as well in the same time, like you're more likely going to stick to it right at the end of the day. So that's why I do these recipes for you guys to show you guys how to make amazing food and stay on your diet and eat amazing foods year round and still be able to lose weight in a caloric deficit.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so as I said, my protein breakdown at the moment is 383. My carbohydrate intake is 307. And basically, my sugars and fats are low. I'm about at 82, and my sugars are only 22. But that's like my breakdown, and my calories are 3,439. So
So
that,
you do a specific straight onto your exact macro. See,
yeah,
I don't generally track macros. I generally just track my protein and my calories.
yeah,
So I might be on like 220 calories. I'm at 2,200 calories. I'm doing an hour of cardio. I'm doing an hour and a half of weight training. So, if I'm on 2,200 roughly and I'm cutting, or I might be on 2,000 roughly when I'm cutting, I'm still getting my 10,000 steps in. Um, you know,
yeah,
I might be on around, maybe around that 210 protein, and I make sure I at least get a minimum of, 45 to 75 grams of healthy fats in my diet for like hormonal, heart, joints. You need it for your testosterone and things like that, the healthy fats in your diet for your cardiovascular health. So I just make sure I get enough fats, enough protein, and then I also, fish oil, I take one every day for the joints. Also, and the brain health as well. So, and then just a little bit of carbohydrates before and after training. Can I explain to you why I only have carbs before and after training?
yeah. If you want, because I think I seen your video of that. The other, I've got a different opinion, but that's fine. We can have different opinions, and it's fine. But I have tried your style, and it does work as well. It's not that they don't work, but I've got a reason and why I do what I do for me. But anyway, keep going. Yes, sounds good. I seen the little bit you said.
So carbohydrates, right? I believe carbs are, they store glycogen in the muscle, right? So when you eat carbs, they go to the muscle, they store glycogen, they pull water to them, they keep your muscle hydrated, they store them with glycogen. And when we go and weight train, right, what's the first source of energy our body looks for when we go strength train in the gym, lifting heavy compound lifts? It's generally first source of energy we'll look for is glycogen, right? So when we go into the gym, we lift our heavy compounds. Like I'll eat my carbohydrates 2 hours before training to give me that energy and glycogen. And then I'll go absolutely destroy myself in the gym, deplete it by smashing by smashing a big back workout. I completely deplete that glycogen and, depleting it. And then I like to replenish it after. So I only have carbs before, and then I'll smash my gym workout. So 2 hours before, within a 2 hour window before, smash the gym workout for about an hour and a half, heavy consistent weight training, heavy compound lifts to, deplete the glycogen out of the muscle and the energy. And then I'll eat carbohydrates within 2 hours with a little bit of protein, because what happens when you break down the fibers in the muscle, it's looking for nutrients, right? Your muscles are going, how do I start recovering? I need to start recovering. So it looks to draw nutrients straight into it. So I have the glycogen after to help with the hydration and recovery process. And then also the protein, also to activate muscle protein synthesis to help with the building blocks and recovery to start repairing that muscle damage that I've absolutely smashed my workout through.
Yeah.
But I don't eat carbohydrates if I'm going to sit in the office for 10 hours because I don't believe I need that energy. Like I might have a little bit, but, I
You move
don't
more
find them
to
too beneficial.
central fats then after that period of time to get your fuels consumption, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mainly
And
your
fruit,
energy source should be
glycogen
coming
for the
from
liver. Yeah.
abdominal fat.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, so where I differ is the difference is I use all of them different methods. So I've got like methods I use all the way from A to Z. So as an example, so all nutrition is a tool. All different styles of nutrition is another tool I can implement to make another change so I can keep dieting for a longer period of time. Or take weight off more efficiently and quicker, do you know what I mean, without going past that point of losing too much muscle, so it's 1.5 kilos to a kilo per week. All right. So basically, what I'm trying to explain is, so if I'm at a point, so say the point that you're doing now, where the fat is thing, that would be probably about a B or about like be further in the line if I was doing changes. Like if I was changing all my nutritions out, if you get what I mean. So to start off with, due to keeping insulin spikes constantly and stable throughout the whole day, because insulin controls a lot of different other hormones in your body that helps fat loss and others. This is not probably as effective if you've got more fat and adipose tissue on your body. Better to do sort of similar more to what you're saying as well. So if you're sort of in that point where you're a bit leaner, spreading them same amount of carbs that you would have constantly through your 6 or 7 meals throughout the whole day, so insulin levels stay stable for that whole period of time. It makes it so it's just constantly stable, and I found that when it does that, I suffer more weight loss from it, and I hold on to more adipose muscle tissue during that period of time. And I'll use that, like say if I'm going first, but it's very clean. Like everything's clean as clean. It's not as yeah. You got a question for that? I've seen you sort of.
Yeah, so like a lot of people, like when they have like an ingest of like a lot of carbohydrates and sugar and like low quality processed foods, like as you said you always eat clean, but a lot of people eat like lots of processed foods that are full of
Yeah, that
carbs.
won't work.
They go smash it up.
Won't work.
Their
Yeah,
insulin level goes through the roof,
it
doesn't
won't
it?
work.
And then they just
Yeah,
come down
it won't.
hard on the
It
crash.
won't work. Yeah, so what I meant is, so the foods will take a longer breakdown.
It's
Yeah,
stable.
it's stable like sweet potato,
Yeah,
you know. But by the same methodology of you saying the other, that's why my rice it works more quicker when you eat a carbohydrate, because all carbohydrates have a different breakdown molecule rate. If you get what I mean, I don't think it's a molecule, but the
yeah,
rate
they have
that
a
they break down.
glycemic
Yeah,
index,
that's
don't
it.
they?
That's what it's called, the glycemic. I was trying to think of the words called. Yeah, so because of that, that's why I would eat rice or something like that, where it's more quick acting. Where if I first got up in the morning, maybe an oats, or later in the day, oats and the white potato
It's more
or sweet
stable.
potato. Well, I'm fuller, and yeah, exactly. So the same sort of principle works there, but it's just the carbs are spread due to the release rates. Oh, bloody got tongue twisted of the carbohydrate. You know, so it's just another
Yeah,
method of
you would
training.
like a
Yeah,
more slower digested carb by adding
yeah,
fiber to it to keep
yeah,
it more
yeah.
stable.
But
Yeah,
you're
if you have like a lot of carbs at once, you just
yeah,
spike. Yeah,
definitely,
makes
definitely. You
sense.
know, if you're eating that processed shit and the sugar and that, you couldn't get away with eating that amount of carbohydrates. There's no way. You know, it's going to mess you up. You know what I mean? Spikes are too high.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, cool, interesting. So I've noticed you've been pumping out a lot of lives. Have you do them on a regular basis, or how do you usually structure your lives for everyone so they can catch you there?
So lives is for entertainment and for answering people's questions about nutrition and fitness. I get so many questions about how do I lose weight, how do I build muscle, how do I start in the gym. I've been through all that when I was a young and had no idea what I was doing. So I know what these these young people are going through. It's like learning. You have to really learn about form and technique and training and dieting and nutrition, and it takes a long time. It can take years to sort of learn, but you'll never stop learning. Like I'm 17 years into learning, and I'm still learning different things every day.
Definitely.
So you will
So
never
am I.
stop learning about training and fitness. So lives are great. I love them. I get on there. I answer all the questions as best as to my ability as possible. Sometimes I have 35 questions backed up, and I'm trying to answer them like go crazy.
Yeah.
But it boggles my mind that people don't have like so many people don't have that information or know where to start or where to begin. And it's great to be able to get on there and actually express my opinion and my knowledge
Yeah.
and give these young people some, insight and some, discipline and some, insight, discipline, consistency, and show them that, you have to start from somewhere, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you just, a lot of people go to the gym, they got no idea what they're doing, right? Especially when I was a coach, people would walk in there, they've never seen a gym before. How do you bench press? How do you leg press? Have no idea about form technique, how much weight they should be using. There's all, different methods, there's all different styles, but, stick to the basics, guys, when you're learning. Work on your form, work on your technique, work on your protein intake, work on your sleep, your hydration, work on your progressive overload each week, work on your heavy compounds, getting them down in pat, making sure that your form's perfect on your compound lifts, and then working more towards like your isolation exercises. And another question, really good one. What do you think of people that just, walk into the gym, they got no idea what they're doing, and what's the best way that they can start, you think?
Yeah, so as I said, so the beginning of the people. Okay, so more than likely, if they first starting out, it'll be better for them to turn around and probably hire a coach, unless they got their friends that can teach them a thing. Or they could go on YouTube, watch a whole heap of different YouTube tutorials and other things, and that will help them, just learn the form and technique. Like basically form and technique, long as you're controlling that negative, the most important part is the negative repetition of the lowering of the weight is more important. Yeah, like I use more of an explosive, so I'm not as controlled on the way up, and I just nice and controlled on my eccentric, is it called? I think it is, but so yeah, so that will be probably a good way to start. And the difference is when we first start, I did the same thing and I just throw a lot of weight around. I still do it sometimes. My ego will get in the way because I've lifted a lot of weight, and I'm like, oh, I just got to do it anyway. I still do it to this day. It's a hard habit to break, So, but the difference is the sets leading up to that one set where I get that little bit of sloppy form, they're all flawless. if you know what I mean. I'm like squeezing, holding. So, you can have a little bit of bad form as well, as you don't got to be always 100% perfect with your form. But the better you keep your form, the better it is. But usually, like I said,
Yeah, and less injuries, man.
yeah,
If you learn
true,
better form and technique, you're gonna have less
true,
injuries over the
yeah,
time. Especially if you're not. Like, what do you think of ego lifting? I find like I go to the gym every single day and I see all these kids trying to bench 100 kilos, and they weigh about 40 kilos. They got little skinny arms and they're trying to bench 100. All the boys are around them. It's like the ego lift. Show the boys that I'm
yeah.
stronger than everyone, and then boom, they end up with an injury, a torn rotator cuff, an AC joint
I've,
or
I've had
torn pec.
I've had lots of injuries. I've rehabbed lots of them.
And you
So
learn from it.
yeah and no, because you still go back and do the same thing sometimes. But by saying that, if you're doing that, if you can't get 6 reps, that is least half decent. No point in going up in weight. No point, especially if it's
Yeah,
not controlled in
true.
that 3 seconds. You want at least anywhere to 12 to 20 repetitions before you go up in weight. You know what I mean? That's the rep ranges are. It depends, on what style. I've got many different styles of techniques of training I use over the period of time. So at the moment I am gone back to progressive overload, so throwing the weight around it. I usually do not use a progressive overload style if I was using more dieting, because my body just can't handle, won't heal, won't recover in time. So then I will do, as I was
That's
saying
what
to you
I'm
before.
struggling with.
Yeah. So now what I would do if I was like really depleted like that, I would do that 80% thing. So you leave a 1 or 2 in the tank. Better to get your training done and chip at that goal and no injury, especially when you're depleted. And I found that after all the years, because I will try to push, do the same type of lifts. As I start to, my calories get lower, and then you get more injuries. So that will save you from falling in my trap, if you get what I mean. And you will
Well,
still get the
I'll be
results. Tigger.
now. I'll be completely honest, man. I'm still training just as hard as I was when I was 90 kilos, and I'm down 13, 14 kilos from that. And it's crazy to say that I've maintained my strength the whole way through.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
honest.
good.
I've maintained it. I've done it over the last 35 weeks. So I've like started like slowly cutting out like sugars and oils and things like that. Then just slowly started dieting down. But I did it really slow so that I could maintain the tissue and maintain the strength the whole way through. I found that really worked for me. That's why I can maintain my strength now. But I do feel like the recovery, as I do get leaner and leaner now, I do feel like the recovery is starting to, the fatigue's starting to kick in a little bit more. I'm starting to get more depleted. It's starting to slowly catch up to me over the last couple of weeks. I got to be careful.
Your digestive system as well. You're gonna have to watch that. That will start to get clogged more than normal as well. So make sure you hammer in that fiber. Hammer that fiber. If you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
But
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but no. So yeah, you're definitely right. So the period of that time, like if you can move that weight and it feels good and you don't have any niggles though, I would just do it if you can do it and it feels good though. Don't deliberately pull back. But what I mean is, if you feel really fatigued and you're like, just because you leave 1 or 2 in the tank for when you're getting leaner and you're depleted, the results is not much different. Because if you real logically think about it, how much more muscle mass can I put on during that time? I'm just trying to maintain. It's not a growth phase anyway. Do you know what I mean? But
No,
we get it
it's
in our
like a
head.
maintenance
Yeah,
phase.
exactly. We get it in our head and we go, oh, I've done it before, so I've got to do it again. It's the same battle I've been doing with for like 40 years where all my lifts have gone down like 40 kilos. It's just as you get older, it's going to happen more too as you get older. I found if you're suffering from that, I would just slow the repetitions way down, real slow, each negative and positive, and you'll get a really good pump and it will like fill up and you'll feel it more.
Mind muscle connection.
Yeah, and just slow it way down and do a few sets like that, and that will help in between that regard as well. That's what I use a lot of, but yeah, during that period of time. Yeah,
Pretty confident.
like I said, I think
Whatever.
we answered everything. Well, what I'm going to say is for everyone else, just drop some questions for us. I think we're going to start up a Q&A thing. We haven't fully figured out the details of it. I'll keep you posted. Drop it down and let us know some questions you guys would like answered, and we will get to it and answer them. And we're going to sign off with that one. It was great having you all here. Thank you for coming on, and hope to see everyone last time. Do you want to plug any of your other social medias before we go?
So I do Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube now. I try and upload every day to YouTube, one long form video, and I try and do one short every day on my TikTok and Instagram. You can drop them down in the comments down below, guys, and have a look through them.
Yep, awesome. Righto, have a good one, everyone. Bye.